Alrighty, everybody. Good morning. Happy February 23rd. It is 5:41 a.m. We are doing some live coverage here for you guys on the ongoing blizzard that is causing a lot of issues for a lot of people here. But I hope everyone is doing well. I hope you guys are having a fantastic morning here. We're going to get into it here in 1 second once we kind of wait for our friends and family to join here. But I hope you guys are doing good, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is our current system right now. It is definitely looking pretty gnarly at the moment. Right now, we are seeing some heavy snow, of course, and some really strong winds here, too. We've been seeing some pretty aggressive totals already, and there's still quite a bit more on the way here, of course, in which we're going to be getting into that here in a moment when we pull up the models. Anyways, but good morning. What's up, Bryson? Good to see you. Saying good morning. Good morning to you as well. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the wind speeds. I feel like it clutters the map too much. But yeah, here's the current radar here as of right now. And you can see that we're still getting some pretty good snow out there by Delaware. Should be ending relatively soon out by Delaware here. New Jersey still coming down really good. Eastern Pennsylvania, Eastern New York State, Long Island here, part of New York State, as well as of course we do have Connecticut, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and bits of lower Vermont, lower New Hampshire, starting to see some of that snowfall. Which, yeah, it's definitely coming down pretty good out here. And we do have some pretty tight ISO bars. You can see these lines here are basically telling us where the constant equal pressure is. And you notice how tight they are together. I mean, they're pretty close together, as you can see, and that tells us that the pressure is dropping off at a pretty fast rate, which is definitely interesting. And because it's doing that, it's allowing for there to be some really, really strong winds associated here with this system overall, which is definitely pretty nasty. Now here's the current satellite imagery. You can see just how impressive that low is. I mean, this thing literally kind of looks like a hurricane here, which is pretty crazy. It is definitely a very very strong storm here. Right now, the pressure is right around, this was a 970 something. Here, let's hop back over here to current analysis here. 972 is currently what the pressure is, expected to be right about now, which is definitely pretty crazy. What's up, Edited? Hope you're doing good, my friend. Saying peak intensity. It's definitely at its peak right about now. It is quite impressive, though. Quite impressive. Yeah, I can't get over that satellite imagery, man. It's just really crazy. So, if you look at the sat, and if I play this in motion here, I'm actually going to draw a little bit on the screen here. So, as you can see, I mean, there's the low right here. This is where that central low is located. You have a lot of more drier, warmer air feeding into the system here. And you can see where it's a lot thicker up top. All of this white. This is all just cloud. And that's where a lot of our moisture, that's where a lot of the snow is falling. And so, on the southern part of the storm, I mean, it's pretty dry, which is definitely really interesting. Like I said, these systems, they rotate counterclockwise in the northern hemisphere, of course, and it's kind of pulling up the warm air and dragging down the cooler air, which is definitely a pretty gnarly looking system. But yeah, we're down to 972 millibars right now, which is equivalent to right around a Category 2 hurricane. In terms of pressure, that is. Let's see. What's up, my dad? Good to see you. Saying hi, Andrew. Hope your morning is going good. Yep, you too, my friend. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Hope all is good for you. But anyways, yeah, so once again, here's the current radar. Definitely seeing some heavy snow. Now let's bring up the models. I do want to take a peek here at the models and see what we're expecting here. Obviously, we've already seen quite a bit. Actually, before we get into models, I do want to bring y'all over here to the current warnings, watches, and advisories here. We got some special weather statements for Northern Virginia. Just talking a little bit of light snow. Let's see here. And then, of course, we do have ourselves all of these blizzard warnings. They now extend all the way up into Maine, which is pretty crazy. Let's see here. Live says if I didn't know that you were covering a blizzard, then I would have thought your video was from a hurricane. Yeah, it's crazy, huh? Especially on that satellite imagery, it really looks like it. It's crazy, crazy. Um, let's see here. What do I think about that band that is forming across New England? Let me bring up radar over here. Let's hop. Actually, you know what? We're just gonna bring up the previous one that we have here. There's definitely some heavier bands that is coming in here. Let's bring you guys back over here. You can see where the blue, it's more dark blue. These are more of the heavier bands here, which can lead to quicker accumulation rates and just overall heavy snow in general. It's definitely coming in, and those bands you got to really look out for because those can bring several inches of snow per hour. So, let's see here. It's MD. Okay, I'll call you MD. It's just your name is really long, and I don't know how to say it, so I just call you my dad. Anyways, Pam says if this is like a hurricane, why don't they name them in wintertime? Well, they're not fully like a hurricane. The only thing that's similar to these systems to a hurricane is the low itself. The pressure is equivalent to a hurricane. And the heavy precipitation and stuff like that. But they are two totally different phenomenons. Hurricanes are more reliant on the warm surface, more reliant on the waters that are below them, while these systems are not necessarily built in the same way. They are they're really different in the core mechanisms of how the systems form. But the similarities is the fact that we have a strong low. Similar pressure, strong winds, and stuff like that. That's really the main things that you can compare them to. But as far as them naming them, the Weather Channel names them. They name them winter storm names. But the Weather Service, they don't name them. The Hurricane Center, they obviously name hurricanes and stuff. But yeah. Anyways, I hope that helps say my name. Yeah, it definitely helps a lot. Definitely helps a lot. Anyways, all right, y'all. Let's hop back over here, back to the warnings, watches, and advisories. So, like I was saying, though, we do have a lot of blizzard warnings in effect here, which I'm going to go ahead and bring up here. Let's hide some of these. Actually, you know what? No, we're just going to keep them where they are. Yeah, I don't want to go through all that. But anyways, blizzard warnings all the way down from Virginia's coast. This does not include Virginia Beach, but more of the peninsula side of Virginia. So we do have blizzard warnings in effect. They go up through New Jersey, up through eastern Pennsylvania, bits of southeastern New York State, northern Connecticut, Rhode Island as a whole, because Rhode Island's really tiny. But we have central eastern Massachusetts, southern New Hampshire, southern Maine now included in these blizzard warnings here. So, the blizzard warnings is pretty much there because of several different things. What really defines a blizzard is heavy snow, really strong winds, and poor visibilities. That's what really defines a blizzard as a blizzard. So, and I think that has to be going on for at least 3 hours for it to be classified as a blizzard. But in this case, this is lasting for a long time for some people. So, definitely is quite the storm here. Over here by Nantucket, look at this. Additional accumulation between 7 and 10 inches. So they've already seen quite a bit. But look, winds gusting as high as 75 miles per hour. That is honestly pretty wild. Hopping on over here to the GR2 radar here. We'll go and turn on precip type. You can see there's definitely some really heavy bands going on over like New Jersey right now, kind of near where the radar is. It's definitely a pretty heavy little band here. We do have a lot of accumulations already being reported out here. Out by Mount Holly, New Jersey, we're reporting about 18.5 inches. Out here by New Brunswick, about 14.9 inches. New York City, the closest one we got is up here in northeast New Jersey, which is 14 inches. But, between Long Island and northeast New Jersey, with New York City being in the middle, we're likely seeing somewhere right around 14 inches or so. We're seeing well over a foot for a lot of these areas here. Over by the DC area, we have some reports of 4, maybe 5 inches or so as of right now. So definitely see some pretty heavy totals. Right now, the heaviest that I'm seeing here is in New Jersey, but the totals for the upper Northeast will obviously go up because they still have a lot more of the storm to go through than these areas down here. The system it shouldn't last too much longer for areas like Delaware and New Jersey. It should be out within the next little bit, within the next several hours here. And with that being said, I do want to hop over to models so we can look at them. And I'm going to bring up the latest HRRR too. We'll take a look at that. So let's do mesoscale HRRR. We'll go back to the. Now we'll do the 09 UTC run here. Let's pull that up. We'll do winter precip type. Here we go. So here we go. So we work our way down in time here. So honestly, the model actually suggests that the snow might last a little bit longer for areas like Delaware. I mean, honestly, having it continue into like 4 p.m., which is interesting, but it shouldn't be anything like super heavy. It looks like that system is, really going to be over the Northeast for quite a while. It should start to kind of be it should be out of New Jersey by the afternoon, evening, according to HRRR here. Let's hop back to the 08. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, so it shows a little bit of a different story, actually. The previous run shows the system being out a little earlier than the latest run. So, obviously the longer it is over the Northeast, the heavier the snowfall is going to be. Yeah, I'm sure like Nantucket, they're going to be getting some really nasty conditions because like they're right on the line of the heaviest precipitation, for several hours, and they're closest to the core, which is going to be like some of the strongest winds, from the system here, which is pretty crazy. If we actually go ahead and overlay the, we'll go ahead and overlay the winds here too. Go ahead and throw up our wind barb. So this is what the expected winds are right now, essentially. We're talking about 45, 50 knots, plummeting right towards the eastern coast of Massachusetts, which, that's kind of a bit of a concern. I was mentioning this here yesterday on the stream. It's like, if you have such strong winds and they're just, really pointing at the coast here, that's going to allow for quite a bit of water to start kind of piling up on the coast, because basically the winds are pushing the water inland, which is going to be a bit of a problem. What's up, GS? Good to see you, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Edited says crazy. Yeah, it's a beast. It's definitely a beast of a storm. And in my opinion, this system here is probably going to be the strongest winter storm of the year. Now, obviously, we can't be for sure, for what's ahead of us, but so far, this has been, the most aggressive one, arguably. Because, I mean, we did have that other really big winter storm that covered, a lot of the country. But in terms of totals, it doesn't compare to this storm here. For the Northeast, this is definitely the biggest storm that we've seen this year. But yeah, I mean, those two systems were definitely monsters. But yeah, this one, kind of in its own little way. Obviously, it's not impacting as many people as that storm that we had. It was probably last month, I think, at this point. Yeah, it was actually about a month ago, now that I think about it. But yeah, we had that really big winter storm here, and it was big, of course, and it had a lot of ice problems and stuff, which is kind of hard to compare them because they're kind of different in their own little ways, But anyways, but yeah, so definitely some really, really strong winds going on out here as of right now. So we definitely got to keep a close eye out there for that. Just making sure that you guys are staying safe and all that stuff. We do have some cameras. Here, we're going to pull up some of these cams here. It looks like we have a lot of cameras, especially up by New York. And it looks like they are completely blank. There we go. So this is out here up in Long Island, western Long Island. Yeah, the roads are covered. We still unfortunately have people out there, which, please do not travel in this, dude. It is not worth it. It is not worth it. So please do not travel. Very dangerous. Very dangerous. Here, let's go to mid Long Island here. Yeah, it's like whiteout conditions. Look at that. Holy cow. You can see the headlights of these cars and their hazards on. This is what we're talking about. The heavy snow plus the strong winds, create such a whiteout environment. I mean, this is just ridiculous. I mean, you can barely even see the cars. Oh, they're okay. Now I can start to make out a little bit of a sign here. Wow. Yeah, that really goes to show you, just how nasty these conditions are. Would not advise it here. Let's go a little further east here. Let's go to East Long Island. All right, so we got a pole cam, a camera that's literally pointing at a pole here. Got some type of light splashing off of it. Yeah, wow. All right, that one you can't see anything. Goodness. Yeah, you guys just please be careful. Let's see here. Yeah, the good news, you know what? I just realized this program actually piles up all of the cameras from the Department of Transportation. That's awesome. So that'll give us some really good camera shots. That's what I've been normally using on the channel, anyways. So this works out really well. So here's a camera up in Eastern Maryland. Here, let's up there by Ocean City. All right, well that one doesn't work. Here, let's go by Snow Hill maybe. Oh wow, that's you can't see nothing there. Yeah, there you go. Looks like quite a bit of snow. Yeah, out here where the camera is at, according to latest observations, it looks like we've seen maybe about 7, 8, 9 inches or so out here. So it's not as heavy as some of these other places, but still quite a bit of snow here. Yeah, you guys just please be careful out there. Let's see, we got some out here. Here's Prince William County. Did the camera just say Pokemon? I thought the same thing. I didn't say it, but yeah, I thought it said the same thing at first. There you go. It looks like it says Pokemon. I gotta show you it does not, though. Let's see here. All right, we're on I-95. This is up by Delaware, Northeast Maryland. Yeah. Another thing is, like, you obviously don't want to be out traveling and this stuff because it can become very easy to get stranded. With these with the strong winds and the heavy snow, I mean, it makes it to where you obviously can't see nothing, but you could easily get stuck in the snow. It's just really not a good idea to be going out. And obviously, if you have work, I would call off because yeah, you can't work safely in this environment here. All right, we're going out to New York City here. Here we go. It's under a bridge. Yeah, everything's definitely covered over here. Here, let's go up maybe a little bit further. What a winter wonderland, man, I tell you. Here, I'll make the camera a bit bigger for you guys so y'all can see them maybe a little bit better. There we go. It looks like something straight out of a Hallmark movie or something. Yeah, some of these cameras are down. I'm assuming there's a lot of power outages here. Here, that's actually something we could probably pull up next here. Here, let me pull up. All right. Here we go. Yeah. So it does look like we are having a bit of power outages. Which obviously is kind of expected. It seems like New Jersey is in for some of the worst of it. So right now, out of 4 million customers in Virginia, we have 17,000 people without power. Maryland, we have 31,000 people without power. Let's see here. Delaware, we have 68,000, almost 67,000 people without power. That's 14% of the 15% almost of the state. Let's see here. Maryland, 31,000. New Jersey, though, 115,000 people without power. Pennsylvania 14,000, New York 20,000. Massachusetts is rising though. We have 55,000 without power. Wow. Yeah, and then we have like Rhode Island and I find it funny. Looking at Rhode Island here, you got 3 counties, right? And it says customers out 7,000. And you know what? That makes up like it said like a certain percentage of the state. It was like 2%, wasn't it? Let's see here. Yeah, or it's 1.3% with 7,000 people out. It's crazy. It just goes to show you how small Rhode Island is. Tiny, tiny little state. Yeah, I like how they break down the states here, or sorry, the counties here too. Like Washington County, Rhode Island, you can see we have about 4,000 people, which that's 6% of the whole county. So, all right, let's hop back over here. But yeah, it's definitely coming down pretty well, pretty good. Here, let's check up on Ohio. We only have camera, like, so yeah, we only have like still images, unfortunately, of Ohio. I don't know why. I don't know why some states do that. Where they have like, some states to have like full blown cameras, to where like video cameras, and then there's some that just have like photo cameras. Who knows? But yeah, it looks like we have quite a band going through like New Jersey right now. I wish we had some cams up in New Jersey, but we do not, unfortunately. But like I said, we have about 18 inches being reported out there by Mount Holly, New Jersey. New Brunswick, we're seeing about 14, 15 inches or so. We have Long Island, 14 inches. Definitely quite a bit of snow being reported. Well over a foot for some areas here. Here, let's change up our radar. We're gonna go up towards Massachusetts here. Oh yeah, really coming down out here as well. Yeah, you can see we have some really heavy bands. Yeah, this is about 30 dBz, which that's considerably a lot for for snow. 30 dBz. That's probably some pretty big and fat flakes that we're likely seeing out of that. Really, really heavy stuff. And like I said, they did finally extend the blizzard warnings up into Maine. So yeah, all of coastal Maine's now under a blizzard warning here too, because of the strong winds and the heavy snow and stuff like that. But by the way, guys, if y'all want me to take a look at any like zip codes or anything like that, that way we can let y'all know what's going on, I'll be more than happy to. Like I said, we'll do what we did yesterday, and we'll just make sure to keep you guys informed and as updated as possible. I obviously really want to keep you guys up to date with everything, because this system's quite a beast. It really is. And I just want to make sure that y'all are up to date with it and staying safe and all that stuff. And like I said, I'll try to give y'all the latest info. Yeah, definitely really concerned with that really heavy band there. This is showing like snowfall rates of 35 dBz. Some spots maybe even up to 40. That's telling me that this snow is coming down really, really, really hard. I mean, that's like several inches per hour type of rates there. Anyways, let's hop back over here. So this is the current radar on the big picture. Definitely is coming down pretty good. We still are seeing a lot of snow falling across Delaware, bits of Maryland, eastern Pennsylvania. We have New Jersey. The entire state of New Jersey is covered in heavy snow right now. We got all of Long Island here for southern, southeastern New York State, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, and it's not really quite in the Maine right now, but we have a little bit maybe starting to work its way in. But like I said, I'm really concerned about these coastal areas. There's definitely going to be a lot of coastal impacts here. With this system, there definitely is going to be quite a bit of coastal impacts. One, the winds are actually stronger out there because you got to think about it. Out in the ocean, it's flat. So winds are able to flow freely. And then of course, you go inland, then there's terrain, which allows for the wind to kind of break up as it kind of rolls over the land because of obstacles and stuff like that. There is a specific name for it, and I can't think of it right off the top of my head. But but basically, yeah, the terrain does slow down the winds quite a bit. But the thing is, though, what's really concerning here is the fact that we are seeing, all of these winds just really kind of push against the coast here. This is eastern Massachusetts. So all of that wind is just pushing all of that water, against Massachusetts coast here. Which, let's see, I'm pretty sure they have, coastal flood warnings in effect because of that. Yep, so coastal flood warnings in effect. Let's see here. Let's see, 1 to 2 feet of inundation above ground level. Yeah, so that's pushing the water up quite a bit. 1 to 2 foot. That's it's similar to storm surge. Just because of how strong this low is. It's creating a similar effect to storm surge there, which is not very good. But these are showing right now about sustained winds of about maybe 40 to 50 miles an hour or so. But you got to remember we're also having some higher gusts here too. We'll even add the gust layer. We'll do point here. Yes, we're likely gusting up to 70 miles an hour or so right now for parts of eastern Massachusetts and like Nantucket. There you go. You can see those number values. Those are kind of representing the gusts as of right now. Yeah, the gusts over by Jersey's coast. We're seeing sustained winds of about 30 or so miles an hour. We're gusting likely upwards of about 40 to 50 at the moment. Yeah, it's definitely quite windy for a lot of people too. See, in Florida, apparently it says right here in Florida we're gusting about 30 where I'm at. I don't know about all that now. Here, maybe I can pull up my I'll pull up my Mesonet. Let's do the stations. We'll do my Lakeland station here. There we go. So this is my my weather station. Ignore the older than 5 minutes thing. It's glitching where it is latest data. But yeah, here where I'm at in Central Florida, our dew point has been completely depleted. We are down to 21 degree Fahrenheit dews. Yesterday we were at 70 degree dew points, and then we got that front, and our moisture level crashed. Yeah, pressure's rising a bit. It did get down to 1,013, which is typical average sea level pressure. Yeah, now we're 1,021 millibars. So yeah, the pressure's going up quite a bit over here. Yeah, it's 44 outside. Yeah, for Central Florida this time of the year, it's not really super common. It's supposed to get pretty cold here tomorrow morning. I think we're supposed to get down in like freezing temperatures. I'm pretty sure that Florida. Oh yeah, we got red flag warnings in effect here. Yeah, we got freeze warnings and red flag warnings. Got some really dry conditions here. Yeah, so Florida is going to have a big fire problem. Let's see here. Pull up the convective outlook. I don't think we have anything going on. Day 3, we do have a general thunderstorm threat. Oh, I forgot to mention, y'all. There might be another storm system to follow this guy. So here, let's bring up the HRRR here. I do want to, or sorry, the GFS here. So we have the, of course, the main system that's rolling through right now. As we go down in time, though, so we might have another little system come through pretty much on Thursday. You can see. I've been watching this for a little bit, and there could be maybe a little bit of storms on it. We'll have to see, but maybe another little bit of a snow system coming through. Don't want to go too far down in time. This is 170 hours out at this point. But yeah, GFS suggests maybe even another storm for March 2nd. But you guys know me; it's too far for me. Let's look at Euro though. We'll compare. I mean, Euro. You know what? Euro does support it too, which is interesting. So we have this, of course, the blizzard across the northeast. We even have another little system that'll bring even some more snow here pretty much for Tuesday, Wednesday. And then another storm for Thursday, Friday. Yeah, so it seems like we have quite a bit of activity here with some snow within the next week or so. So we'll obviously we'll keep you guys up to date if anything changes or if we see anything here. Also, the sun's starting to come up here. You can see on the right-hand side of the satellite imagery there. What's up, JW? Good to see you. Saying, flying home from Memphis. Let's see how much snow is up in Chicago. Flying through there to Indianapolis. Chicago. Let's see. I don't even know if we have much snow going on up there. Well, this system's not really impacting the Chicago area. Not entirely too sure how much snow there is right now. I might be able to pull up the snow depth. Hold on. Let's see if I can do this for you. All right, so as of right now, yeah, it doesn't look like Chicago really has any heavies or really any snow on the ground. From what I'm seeing here, though, yeah, I mean they weren't really included with this system here. Chicago is way too northwest. Just wondering if delay is possible today. Well, from what I'm seeing right now, I mean, if we look at the current radar, oops, we'll bring it back over here. We do have a little bit of snow showers, but it doesn't really seem like anything big. I wouldn't really think there would be. Yeah, see, the storm is way over across the northeast here. This is where we're having the heavy impacts, but yeah, Chicago's fine from this system. Yeah, we're not having any storm over there. See, understood, but they had mentioned what? The impacts? Yeah, no, from this system, no, definitely not. Yeah, like I said, from what I see here, there's really nothing to worry about here. I tell you what, let's hop back over here. I'm actually going to add another satellite imagery panel. We'll do geocolor here. I do want to go back because you should be able to see some snow on the ground on the geocolor. Yeah, I can't go any further than 24 hours there. Yeah, sometimes you can see snow on the ground. Obviously, you can see some over here, or is that fog? I think that might be fog. No, that's snow actually. Yeah. Yeah, fog would be moving. Yeah, so you can see the snow on the ground over Iowa and stuff here, but Chicago seems pretty fine. Anyways, moving on. But right now we are definitely, this is the current radar view. As of right now, we are seeing a lot of heavy snow falling up across still areas of like Delaware, portions of Maryland. It kind of breaks up a bit. Eastern Pennsylvania, New Jersey. We have New York State. We have Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, southern Vermont, southern New Hampshire here. So, let's see. I'm at the airport waiting to fly home from Memphis to Chicago. Oh, I got you. Well, safe flight, my friend. Then on to Indy. Thank you. Yep, no problem. Yeah, have a safe flight. But like I said, right now we are definitely seeing some really nasty conditions out here. Tons of heavy snow, some really strong winds. I'm gonna bring back up our cameras here, so we can see what's going on over here. We do have a lot of cameras over Long Island, thankfully. So we're gonna grab one for like the eastern middle side. So look at this. So it looks like the camera's down, but this is just the pure whiteout conditions that we're actively seeing right now. From this system here. I mean, there's really just nothing to see. It's because there's so much whiteout conditions here, which is just crazy. Camera to the north here shows the same thing here, so it's not a camera problem. Now see, this one's kind of partially covered. You can see. Oh, here we go. Yeah, this one has a tree next to it and really shows you those winds. There you go. Yeah, I mean, you can barely even see out there, though. That's crazy. Yeah, visibility is so poor. Oh, there's a car that went through. See, I couldn't even tell there was a road there, You can't even really see that there's really even a road there. Yeah, like I said, you guys should not be traveling out in this. I would heavily advise against it. Because like I said, last thing you want to do is get stranded, And by the way, guys, if y'all have any zip code forecasts that you want me to do as well, let us know. We'll be happy to do such for you. Here, let's bring y'all back over here. Yeah, here's the past 12 hours of radar. Quite a nasty little storm. I mean, this thing really picked up in intensity here. Here, we'll let me get rid of the wind speeds here. I'll make that run a little bit faster. It was struggling. Here, let's go about the past 24-hour radar, so we can see the last bit of it. Actually, let's get rid of the where's the satellite? There it is. Let's get rid of that. It's adding too much layers to this. There you go. Here, we'll get rid of everything, but there we go. Yeah, wow. What a beast, man. The low is now down to 970 millibars. So it's almost going into 960 range, which, like I was saying earlier, having pressure of that magnitude, that low, that's equivalent to like category 2 hurricane. Just based off of the pressure alone, we're definitely seeing some really, really strong winds there because of just really the overall strength and the pure strength of the low. It is quite impressive. And you can really see where the snow's a lot thicker here, in this darker blue. Yeah, the darker the color gets, the more heavier the snowfall rates are and stuff. Yeah, it seems like a lot of it's cleared out over Virginia. I have a lot of friends and family up here. Seems like a lot of you guys have gotten the most of it. Gosh, I made that lemonade too sweet. Goodness. Still is quite a bit of lake effect snow going on though too. minus the system here. Here we're going to pause on the latest frame. So this is right now. We do have a little bit of lake effect snow going on up across the Ohio Valley. But then, of course, the main system over here. Now, areas like Nova Scotia will definitely see some impacts from this system as well, which our friends up north definitely need to pay attention to this one as well. It'll be pretty impactful. So all the orange y'all see here, these are all blizzard warnings, which actually they just canceled the blizzard warning for the Virginia Panhandle, we'll call it. Still in effect for Maryland, eastern Maryland, obviously Delaware here, eastern portions of Pennsylvania, portions, actually the entire state of New Jersey here. All of Long Island here for New York State. Southeastern New York State, here we have a lot of blizzard warnings. Entire state of Connecticut, entire state of Rhode Island, most of Massachusetts here, except for Greenfield area, and southeastern New Hampshire. We have some blizzard warnings. And like I said, they did extend the blizzard warnings now up into the coastal areas here. So we now have blizzard warnings going up all the way up towards coastal Maine, all through the entire coast of Maine, essentially. Got some special weather statements for Virginia just for some snow. Yeah, still a lot of these areas are seeing some heavy winds. But just please be careful. Like I said, I would recommend that you guys, if you have work or anything today, I definitely would call off on it. I wouldn't be going out in that mess. It's way too dangerous to be going out in that. Yeah, even Florida, we got our own problems here. We got some freeze warnings. Low is 30 expected. At least it's not that 23 degrees we had. Yeah, that was something else, man. We had February 1st, we had temperatures here in Central Florida get down to 23 degrees where I live. 23. It's like that was absolutely ridiculous. Way too cold for me. I can't handle the cold like I used to. So, like I said, y'all, right now we are seeing that central low down to 970 millibars. Right now we are seeing some of these coastal winds out by Nantucket, eastern Massachusetts. We're likely gusting about 60 to 70 miles an hour or so as of right now. Definitely coming up pretty good. I can probably, you know what I'm going to do, actually? I'm going to bring up the... let's see, GR2 place files. I'm going to pull up a wind. I think there's some for wind gusts here I can pull up. So let's see here. Let's see if I can't pull up some wind gusts. Yeah, we can have like looping wind gusts here. Here we go. Wind gust looping. Perfect. All right, so I'll copy that. We'll hop over to GR2. We'll add it to our table here. There we go. Perfect. Yeah, you can see some of these wind gusts are like 63 knots. Shoot, and that's in knots too. 63 knots, that'd be like 70 miles an hour. Here, I'll pull up a conversion. So you can see right here, it says 63 knots. See at the end, it says 040. Oops. You can see that number string that says 04030G63KT. So that's saying that, showing you the wind speed, the wind direction, the wind speed, and the gust. The G is for gust. So 63 knots. So if we hop over here, we'll do 63 knots. That's 72 miles an hour we're gusting to right now up in eastern Massachusetts. And the thing is, that's actually observed too. That is actual observations here. Whoa, dude, we got some lightning. Lightning off the coast here. We got some thunder snow. Actually, these areas might be rain. Do have some heavy bands off of the shore here. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with my GR2. Just doing that weird looping thing. Anyways, but right now we have some reports coming through from New York City. Looks like we have about 15 or so inches that has fallen as of now. So definitely, well over a foot of snow has fallen for a lot of these areas already. A lot of Long Island, Western Long Island, we're seeing 11, 15, 17, 18, 19 inches being reported. And you got to remember, some of these reports are old, so it's like they're not all up to date. The latest one that we have up in southern Connecticut, this was at 11:03 UTC, which right now current time is 11:16. So this is a pretty fresh report in southern Connecticut. This is out here in New Haven County, Connecticut, in which we are seeing 15 inches of snow being reported. 15 inches of snow. Let's see here. We have another one at 10:51 UTC, which this one's not that old either. This was at a foot out by Middletown. Let's hop over to Massachusetts here. Oh, hold on a minute. Y'all, we got some thunder snow being reported out in Somerset, Massachusetts. Look at that. We got some lightning strikes being reported within the last 40 minutes. Wow. So if you don't know, thunder snow is extremely rare. It's not something you really see all the time. You see it sometimes in really, really heavy snow events. Like for this one, just kind of given how aggressive the system is. I mean, let me pull up meso analysis. Or better yet, let's pull up current soundings or latest soundings. I don't think we have the new soundings yet. They'll be launching a bunch of weather balloons at 7 a.m. Here, let's hop you guys back over here. We'll see when our last update was. All right, this was 7 p.m. yesterday. Yeah, the whole atmosphere was below freezing here, which is good. A lot of saturation, tons of moisture, pretty thick column too, so that really shows you the heavy snow was ongoing. So that was out in Long Island. Let me try over here by Eastern Maryland, Eastern Virginia. Oh, data error. Let's try Sterling, Virginia then. Northern Virginia. Yeah, this is also 7 p.m. Temps were right near the freezing point. You can see our upper levels are really dry though. Pretty much from 7.5 kilometers and upwards. It's pretty dry at this level. This was actually also at 7 p.m. yesterday. So, and then our lower mid levels are pretty moisture filled. You can also see on the humidity chart here that our humidity is high because our temperature dew point are near each other, telling us that it's at the point of saturation where we'd be getting condensing going on. What's up, Kim? Good to see you, my friend. Saying late night indie. Yeah, it's kind of a late night live. Just want to be here to do some coverage. You've been live here for 49 minutes already. Just kind of hanging out, talking about what's going on. We got a lot of really nasty conditions going on right now. Like Massachusetts, they're getting hit really hard at the moment. Yeah, so right now we see 63 mile per hour wind gusts. Or sorry, 63 knot wind gusts here. which that is 72 miles an hour gust. Now, like I said, remember gusting is what the winds could peak up to. Sustained is what they're constant at. So we're seeing winds, for usually just a few seconds, gust up to 72 miles per hour. Nantucket's not far behind it, 61 knots. That's like really, really, really fast. I mean, that's like that's like upper level tropical storm force winds. That's almost hurricane force winds that they're seeing there. Gusts, I should say. Hurricane wind gusts, almost. Sustained winds were about 35 knots. So, I mean, yeah, we're still sustained at tropical storm force. And, like I said, with the system right now, our central low is down to 970 millibars. We are down to 970. Quite impressive. But yeah, here's current radar. You can see that we have a lot of the heavy snow right now falling across the Northeast. Areas like Delaware, of course, New Jersey, southeastern Pennsylvania there, or sorry, southeastern New York State, eastern Pennsylvania. We have Long Island for portions of southern New York State. All of Long Island's covered. We have Massachusetts up here, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Vermont, New Hampshire. Seeing a bit of snow. It looks like that snow is starting to kind of push upwards. Let's see here. Live Free says, "Okay, time for work. Thanks for the weather update, Andrew. Y'all stay safe today." Thank you. And you are very, very welcome. Have a safe time at work. And honestly, if you're out in the middle of this, I would not advise going into work. That goes for everybody. Yeah, so please be careful, y'all. Kim says that's a big drop in millibars. Yeah, 970 millibar low is very strong low. Very, very strong. A bit of a fun fact here. I mean, whenever I went through Hurricane Milton, this was actually about the low that I recorded on my weather station. My weather station recorded a low of 971 station pressure. So that was, fixed or non-fixed for altitude. But fixed for altitude is about 975 millibars that I recorded from Milton. So, I mean, it's a similar strength low to what I was in during Milton in the core. So it's a beast. It's a beast. And by the way, guys, if y'all have any zip codes or anything that you want me to look at, for impacts and stuff like that, please do not hesitate to ask. I'll be more than happy to help you guys. Let's see if we can't get some cameras going here. We have Long Island cams. I'm going to try to pull up here. See, that's what we had a few months ago here in Scotland after a twin hurricane. Oh, what, the pressure that low? Let's try a different one. Yeah, it's crazy. 973. Wow. Yeah, that's about it. Oh, the sun's coming out. You can start to see a little bit better. Ooh, wow, look at those gusts. That camera is covered in snow. Some of these snow not some of these snow. Some of these cameras actually have built-in heaters on them. I don't think this one does, though. If it does, it's doing a very poor job at it. But look at that, man. Yeah, if you look at those light posts, right? So if you look at the street lights, you can actually see the snow going horizontal to them. Like that's just crazy, crazy stuff here. Let's see if we can find a better camera. Yeah, the sun is coming up, so we'll have a little bit better views, I'm thinking. Okay, that camera's covered too. That one's also covered, looks like. Here we go. Oh, is that the one we just looked at? Yeah. Here, let's go far east as possible. There we go. Wow, look at that. They are snowed in, man. Holy cow. Wow. Definitely is not safe to be traveling in this. But yeah, Kim, that is pretty crazy though. A low of 973 is no joke. I mean, that's some serious stuff. That's some really, really serious low. Really serious low pressure. All right. We're just gonna kind of go through some of these Long Island cameras here. That one's covered. A lot of these are just covered, man. We have a lot of them though. That one's covered. Oh yeah, we were on this one earlier. Yeah, you can see the tree on the right side. I mean, it's been moving around in the wind. But yeah, I didn't notice that there was actually a road under here too, until a car went through it, a little bit ago. But yeah, sun's up now, and you can kind of see it a little bit better. There's another one. What's up, Kaiser? Good to see you. Is that a plow? Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of plows out there right now. Goodness. Yeah, the problem is we have a lot of really heavy blowing snow right now, right? So they plow the roads, and then it doesn't take long after for them to be completely covered again. Because the winds are actually blowing the snow back on the road for one, but two, it's snowing so hard that it just accumulates back again in like no time. So I mean, it's crazy. Kim says we had a gust of 100 miles per hour through the central belt, just south of North Florida. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, I think with Milton, I think we were having like 90 mile per hour wind gusts. Yeah, it was pretty rough. It was pretty rough. There was a point during Milton when we were on the western eye wall, whenever it went through over here, where the palm trees were like pretty much at a 90-degree angle because of the winds. I mean, it was blowing them like literally sideways. I never really understood, or really noticed, I should say, how flexible palm trees are until I've seen them move around until I've seen them move around in the storm. Yeah, that really was something I wasn't expecting. Milton was insane. It was. That was the biggest storm I've ever been through. Yeah, Milton was pretty crazy. It was quite an experience, I'll tell you that. But yeah, I mean, like I said, the pressure now of what this system is about as strong as the pressure Hurricane Milton was when it was over me. Which is crazy. But anyways, here's the current radar, everybody. So all the blue obviously showing me where the snow is at. If you don't know where we're at, you can see here's the Northeast, here's Virginia, here's New York State, Vermont, New Hampshire. Just to kind of put things in perspective, here's New Jersey. So we are seeing a lot of heavy snow ongoing through ports of Delaware still, portions of Maryland, southeast Pennsylvania, pretty much all of New Jersey as well, eastern, southeastern New York State, all of Connecticut, all of Massachusetts, all of Rhode Island, southern Vermont, central southern New Hampshire. Seen some snow. Maine is not really in it quite yet. But as that low tracks northeast here, which it is, you can see this thing is barreling along really, really fast. We are seeing, that snow slowly push further and further north here. I wonder if the hurricane hunters are out in this. Believe it or not, they like to fly in other storms too. They sure are. They sure are. I should have known. Or I guess I did know. Look at that. So, you know what? They're in the storm right now, actually. They are flying in the storm right now. Current observations. Let's see. Huh. They did do some drop songs, apparently. Let's see here. Yeah, they did some drop songs to kind of collect some data within the storm. That is crazy. Literally, the hurricane hunters are flying in the storm. It's kind of an early taste of hurricane season. We are 98 days away from hurricane season. Yeah, it looks like they were kind of dropping some sondes here towards the center. Let's look at drop sonde number 8. So this really shows us that the lower levels are pretty saturated. And we have a little bit of drier air towards about 700 millibar height equivalent, and really dry up aloft. Wow. Hurricane hunters get any decent information from this? Yeah, I mean, it's definitely good because, I mean, at this point now in time, model data is iffy to look at because the storms will be ongoing. But yeah, I mean, similar to hurricanes, they take this data that they collect. They collect the flight level winds and they plug this all into the computer to kind of help calibrate the models and stuff. Plug it in observation data. Kind of helps fine tune the models a little bit more. But yeah, they're definitely collecting some data. They're doing some drop sondes. If you don't know what a drop sonde is, it's a little tube that they drop, kind of like bombs out of an aircraft, except they drop it in the bottom of the aircraft. It falls under the aircraft, and it falls all the way to the ground. And it has a parachute on it, and it slowly drops to the ground. And on the way down, it measures the temperature, the dew point, the humidity between the two, the pressure, all kinds of cool stuff. So it measures all, a lot of data as it goes down, which is definitely really useful, especially for like model data and stuff like that, because it, like I said, it just helps kind of show the models what's going on right now. Makes it a little more accurate to forecast what's going on in the future too. So, anyways. All right, let's hop back up here. So anyways, right now we still have a lot of blizzard warnings in effect all through Delaware, all through Maryland, the entire state of New Jersey, bits of Pennsylvania, New York State, all of Connecticut, all of Rhode Island, lots of central eastern Massachusetts, southeastern New Hampshire, and all of coastal Maine is under a blizzard warning here. Like I said, blizzard warnings basically just mean that there's going to be some heavy blowing snow. Blizzards are really a combination of three main things: low visibility, strong winds, and heavy snow. And all of those together create blizzard conditions, in which it has to be happening for at least 3 hours to be classified as a blizzard. But this storm's going on for hours and hours, which easily exceeds that. Yeah, I mean, it's really strong. Really, really strong system. Kim says, see, technically it isn't a hurricane due to lack of warm, moist air blowing up the storm. Absolutely, yep. And, that's the really, the big thing, between these systems here and hurricanes, is that hurricanes are really reliant on the heat from the water, and a lot of moisture from the air, of course. So, yeah, hurricanes, they're different. They're built different. But what they do share in similarity is the fact that they have such a strong low pressure in them and such strong winds because of the aggressive flow of air, because of the change in pressure, because the air wants to flow from higher to lower pressure indirectly because of the Coriolis effect and stuff like that. So basically, you have the wind's kind of wrapping around at an angle. It's not directly to the center of the low. It's because it actually kind of goes around, and because of this too. Because of that strong low that we have, it's actually pulling in. Here, let's remove this. It's actually pulling in warmer air on the right side, which is fueling in a bunch of moisture. Because warmer air holds a lot more water vapor, and so it's really pulling in a lot of water vapor and that water vapor gets pulled up into the cooler environment because you got to think the colder air is coming down too from up north. And so that warmer air is coming into the cooler environment, which is squeezing out that moisture in the warm air. Because, like I said, warm air holds more moisture than cold air. And once all of that warm, moist air goes into the cooler, air, that moisture, that water vapor has nowhere to go. So it condenses and turns into a bunch of water droplets. And because it's cold enough in this case, it obviously forms as snow rather than rain. Definitely really, really interesting, and there's some really neat thermodynamics going on here. Really cool. I've been studying a lot of thermodynamics lately. I mean, I've known them for forever, but I've just been trying to, update my brain and stuff like that. It's good to sometimes go through the notes after a while. We can get a little bit of a refresher and stuff. I've been doing that a lot lately. Um, it's really interesting stuff. It really is. Meteorology is really, really cool, and there's so much more going on than you'd ever imagine. It's really neat, and I'm still learning a lot of stuff to this day about it. Nobody never stops learning about. I mean, this is no, not just weather, but everything. Um, there's always something to learn. There always is, and it's really fascinating. And if you want to get into meteorology, I mean, I'd highly recommend it, because you'll learn some really cool stuff. You'll learn some really, really cool stuff. There's, I tell you what, one of the coolest things that I have ever done, honestly, just in general, is when I was learning meteorology. It's like you learn one thing, right? So you learn something, and then you learn something else, and you're like, wait a minute, these two can connect. And then you start kind of like building this mental model of how things work. And, after doing this for so many years, it's like I've accumulated, a lot of knowledge on this, which is super cool. It's just so neat. I would heavily recommend you guys, if you're really wanting to get into meteorology, to do that too. It's such a cool feeling to fully understand something, It's neat. It's really neat. Now, obviously, like I said, obviously I don't know everything. There's a lot of things I don't know. But the things that I have learned over the years, I mean, it's cool, and I know the general basics and some advanced stuff, but it's just really cool, really cool. Anyways, so what direction will this go in a day or two? So the whole system's moving northeast here. So if we go back on previous scans, you can see the obvious track of the system. Yeah, so the storm is going northeast. For the most part. Now, if we were to take this into models, let's go over to GFS here. Let's pull up our MSLP, or mean sea level pressure. So, if we bring up the GFS, we go down in time. The system is going to go over like Nova Scotia, Newfoundland there, and then eventually kind of go up there towards Greenland and Iceland, south of Greenland and Iceland. So yeah, that's what GFS kind of suggests here. The low could even be even stronger according to GFS here. Oh wow, the new GFS shows that low now getting down to 965 millibars. Dude, that's like pushing Cat 3 pressure strength. Let's see here. Patrick says maybe a little early yet, but since tornado season's about to start in the deep south, any more news about that yet? Not yet. I'm gonna hold off on that for a while. I mentioned before, I'm not super big into climatology as much as I am in meteorology. Looking at weather statistics, like weather over time with climatology, and stuff like that. Not my cup of tea, personally. But of course, I look into it sometimes. But I'm not going to get too much into it right now. I do think it'll be pretty active this year in some spots, especially the South. I think it'll be pretty active, but we'll have to see. What's up, Carrot? Good to see you. Saying, hey, Andrew, how are the totals? They are pretty crazy. So hopping over here right now to the latest totals, we are reporting 20 inches of snow in central Long Island. Let's see here. You can see all these snow reports that we have kind of going through here right now. They're all over the place. We got 17 inches in New London, Connecticut. Let's see. Pretty good amounts, actually, yeah. Eastern, let's see here. Eastern Pennsylvania, we have a good foot or so. Yeah, New Jersey has a lot, though. We have like 12 inches reported, 11, 20 inches reported. Yeah, some areas are pushing over 20 inches. We're getting near 2 foot in some areas right now. So it's picking up quite a bit. Um, let's see. Never stop learning and never stop nerding. That's so true, Kim. Absolutely. Like I said, my thing lately has been going back through the notes of thermodynamics. Really really cool stuff. And a lot of it does tie into like this system too. Let's hop back over here real quickly. So like I was just explaining a minute ago, is that you got a lot of stuff going on here at the current moment. Here, we'll even bring up our current conditions here. So this is our current radar and current pressure and stuff. Um, but what a lot of people don't realize, who's super in the weather, is like, yeah, you have a low, right? And this low is spinning counterclockwise here in the northern hemisphere. Southern hemisphere, it's inverted, but in the northern hemisphere here, this thing is spinning counterclockwise, and because it's spinning this way, it's like a big mixer, and so it's dragging down cooler air from up north, where it's there's not as much direct sunlight, because being closer to the equator, you have more direct sunlight. Further up north, it's indirect. You don't get as hot. Anyways, but there's a lot more cooler air up north. And then the opposite happens on the other side. You get a lot of warm air coming up from down south. And like I was saying, basic thermodynamics says that warmer air holds more moisture. And so all of this warm air is kind of being pulled into the eastern side of the storm here. And we know because warm air holds more moisture, cold air doesn't hold as much. And so basically, as the warm air starts to kind of continue to wrap around this low, so all the warm air is coming up north, and it starts to interact with that cold air. And because of that, and the air is cooling down, what the moisture that was contained in the warm air, the atmosphere can't hold it anymore. It can't hold all that water vapor, so it condenses, turns into droplets. Well, in this case, it turns into snow rather than droplets, because it's too cold for droplets to form. But it's it's cold enough for it to turn into snow. So basically, as all this warm air is wrapping into the system, the upper environment's cooling it down and transitioning it into snow, and it's basically squeezing out all that moisture, all that water vapor. Really cool stuff. I find it so fascinating. Really cool stuff. And like I said, a lot of people, I think if you really got into it and if you really studied it, you would be amazed. You'd be really amazed at just everything that goes on these systems here. It's so neat. Anyways, let's see here. Carrot says, judged off the models, the ridging is currently strong in the southeast. So the northeast, perhaps southern plains, will likely be the main focus at the beginning of NATO season. I got you. Yeah, like I said, I'm gonna hold off on that for a little bit. Obviously, we'll have to touch back up on that here in a little bit. Let's see here. Kim says a few days out, looks like we're gonna get. Or it looks like it's going to rock the west coast of Scotland. No wonder our weather peeps are talking about it being miserable towards the end of the week. Yeah, I would explain it. See, I haven't checked Europe's weather, but I know they're getting pounded by storm systems. Yeah, I know it's kind of bad, but I really don't pay attention to much of other areas other than like the U.S., of course, because this is mainly what I cover here. Yeah, I mean, not really often. I do look beyond the U.S. I mean, of course, we cover our Canadian friends sometimes, like Nova Scotia and Newfoundland. Obviously, we cover the Caribbean too from these systems. Sometimes I'll cover the Pacific. If there's a storm out there, like a hurricane or something, like hitting Hawaii, or in that one case that we had like several years ago. I don't know if you guys remember that. If any of you guys were here during that stream, but there was a stream I did like 3 years ago, I think it was, where a hurricane hit Southern California. That was a crazy storm. I don't know if any of y'all remember that or not, or if any of you guys were even here during that. But that was something else. I mean, it's crazy looking back and just seeing all the different storms we've covered over the years. I mean, it's crazy. Time's flying too fast, man. Too fast. Let's see. things could change for sure, but at least for the next week and a half, that ridge is a big guy in the south. I started noticing though, um, in the models, we are going to see a lot of that instability return. Here, let's bring up our GFS again. I know I said I wasn't going to get much into it, but let's bring up this here. We're gonna do most unstable. Oh, that's convective inhibition. Whoops, did not want to do that. We're not looking at that. We don't want to look for no warm layers. Here, let's pull up our most unstable CAPE. Convective available potential energy. Basically, this is just the instability in the atmosphere for storms. But yeah, you can see as we progress down in time, it seems like some of that instability is going to start creeping back up towards the U.S. Maybe not there by like Florida and stuff. I don't want to go too far down in time because obviously the farther you go out, the more inaccurate things get. But I wouldn't think it'd be too much longer before we probably start to see some storm systems. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Anyways. Actually, before I do move on away from the models here, or from the GFS, anyways, there is another system. I was actually talking about this a little bit ago in the stream. So obviously we have the storm impacting the Northeast right now, right? So we have that. We work our way down in time. We actually have another little system impacting the Great Lakes here. Pretty much Tuesday, and eventually going into the Northeast here on Wednesday. And even another little system possibly right around Thursday going into Friday. Mostly Thursday. So I did want to mention that up here. So we have a couple other little systems that we're watching. Could drive some more snowfall. We'll have to see here. Yeah, this one shows Thursday, maybe a little clipper system. Driving some snow for like Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, West Virginia, maybe a little bit of the Northeast here. We'll have to see. So that's GFS. Now, obviously, it's never a good thing to look at one model. So that's what we're going to compare with the Euro. But from what I've seen, though, I mean, yeah, there's some differences, right? So we have that one system that's here for Tuesday, impacting the Great Lakes, and then eventually, some impacts for the Northeast here on Wednesday. But like I mentioned here, there's that other system. This one doesn't show as much snow. It's a lot further north, and it seems like the system in general is more elongated, rather than what the GFS was saying. So there is some differences. But one thing I do want to mention here is this. You see that? A bit of a cold front here. This, we're going to have to watch it and see if it'll be an environment for storms. I'll grab a quick little sounding here just to check the prefrontal environment. As of now, it doesn't look like there's that much steep of lapse rates. Lapse rates are very shallow, meaning that the temperature, as you go up in altitude, essentially isn't dropping off fast enough as it needs to for instability to be present. So lapse rates directly correlate to, or they're a feature which correlates into the amount of instability you have. Another thing that also is included with that is like moisture content, just stuff like that. And so there's not a lot of instability available. Bottom line, there's a good amount of moisture. I will say that wind shear is pretty good because of that storm system there existing. Like I said, our dew point here on the surface is 61 or so. I mean, that's a pretty decent environment for storms. But like I said, the main thing, the one thing that's really lacking is the instability. So models could trend where there could be steeper lapse rates, maybe some more instability. We'll just have to see. But anyways, moving on. Anyway, so here's current radar right now. This is what we got going on at the moment. So this is what the system looks like right now. Right now we are seeing some heavy snow, obviously still going on across the Northeast. It will be for the next several hours. Storm is still far from being done, but central low right now down to right around 970 millibars. So it is a really, really, really strong low at the moment. But yeah, definitely is coming down pretty good. Let's see. Carrot says, let's see, when I say there will likely be a strong ridge, it doesn't, or that isn't currently in progress, but the agreement is high a little later. What, for a high pressure buildup? Well, yeah, ridging is high pressure and troughing is low pressure. So, where did you say the ridge would be? Across the south, right? Southeast. Interesting. Yeah, so ridging would bring here, let me draw here. So if we had, say we had high pressure, right, in the southeast. So because of the northern hemisphere, this actually rotates clockwise. So yeah, this would be bringing in some more moisture, into the south here. Which, yeah, the models they did pick up on that. Yeah, that's actually what we were looking at a little bit ago. Is that you saw all the instability building back in, kind of creeping its way back up towards the states. Because of those lapse rates and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. But right now, we have this really strong low over here. It's just off the coast of like New Jersey, just off the coast of like Delaware. It's a decent little distance away from the coast now, but still, you still got that counterclockwise flow basically from these systems here. Carrot says, "Will this storm system get any stronger?" It possibly could. Yeah, the not HRR, the GFS actually suggested the low getting down to 965 at a minimum. That would be crazy. I mean, it's already at 970. That's a 5 millibar drop, but yeah, there is some support here. Let me compare models here. We'll mean sea level pressure. Oops, didn't mean to draw. I keep doing that all the time, man. Anyway, so ECMWF here. So we work way down in time. So yeah, even Euro, as that low progresses northeast here, does show that low getting down to the 960s. 969, 968, 967 millibars is apparently the low. Got to be right around the late afternoon, early evening today. So that's sorry, I keep saying HRR, man. That is Euro. That's the ECMWF. Now, GFS shows 967 as well. Yeah, 967 millibars as well for a low. I think I was looking at the zero. Is the zero that showed the 965? Which one was it? I know there was. Oh yeah, there you go. It was the zero UTC that showed 965 millibar low. The 06 shows. Oh no, 06 still shows it too. Interesting. Let's see GDPS. I want to get a little bit of model variety here. 966 from the GDPS. Yeah, quite a strong low. Here, we'll go to HRR now. Yeah, HRR doesn't show it as low. Anyways. All right. Here, let's hop back to current radar. So actually, what we're gonna do now, we're gonna hop back up north for a minute. So right now we do have a lot of blizzard warnings still in effect here. Like I said, for portions of eastern Maryland, the state here of Delaware is included. We do have western New Jersey, portions of eastern Pennsylvania, southeastern New York State, including Long Island here, the entire portion of Long Island, all of Connecticut, all of Rhode Island, central eastern Massachusetts. I mean, a good 75% of Massachusetts has blizzard warnings here. And southeastern New Hampshire, we have a couple counties or two, or county or two down here in southeastern New Hampshire. And then, of course, now including all of Maine, not the entire state of Maine, all of the coastal Maine, I should say. Big difference there. But, yeah, all of coastal Maine is under those blizzard warnings there. All right, we got a lot of special weather statements towards the DC area. A lot of winter weather advisories are kind of in the purple color, which tells you that there's some impacts of winter weather expected. The pink ones, these are all winter storm warnings. Pretty much still saying heavy impacts of winter weather, heavy snow. Usually the limitation for the winter storm warnings is not quite to the criteria of blizzard warnings. And in this case, being likely because of weaker winds. Still, very strong winds, though. Don't let that deter you. But yeah, we still have gusts upwards of 45, 50 miles an hour or so. But yeah, by the closer you get to the coast, the winds, there's not as much obstacle for the winds to slow down as further inland. So the further inland you go, for the winds to get to you, they need to go over more land, which actually slows down the winds a bit. Versus out in the water, it's all open for the most part. There's not much terrain that gets in the way to slow that flow down. Also, because you're closer to the low too, being closer to the coast, so that also plays a big role too. But anyways, let's see. Let's take a look at our day 4 and day 5 outlook. I don't think we have anything for any severe weather coming up anytime soon. Yeah. So all of our severe weather stuff's pretty good. Actually, something I do want to do? I didn't even think of this. Here, let's bring back up our... we're going to introduce a new map for you guys. Let's do... let's see. Weather Prediction Center. Winter probabilities. Okay, so here's our 50th percentile expected amount of snowfall. So this is how much we are expecting now. Still a good 15 inches or so for eastern Massachusetts at this point. Connecticut could pick up a good 4 to 6 inches more. Not a whole lot more or really not any more for the DC area. A lot of it stopped there. I want to redo this color table if I can one day. I don't think I can, though. Anyways. But yeah, still some of the heaviest accumulation to fall is going to be for like eastern Massachusetts here. Let me put in some town names so you guys can see what we're actually looking at. There you go. So those are the main cities. And we'll do smaller cities as well. So areas like Plymouth, Massachusetts could still see another foot or so. Towards Brockton, Taunton, I think it's how you say it, Plymouth, Massachusetts. Good 15 or so inches is expected. Boston could still see another foot or so. Providence, same thing, about another foot or so. Out by Warwick, Bristol. Then you go towards areas like Newport's, Rhode Island. You can see that now we're expecting about 10 inches or so. What's up, Monster? Good to see you. Saying you got dumped. Yeah, a lot of snow has fallen, that's for sure. Hartford, Connecticut, about 4 inches expected from now. This is additional accumulation here. Trenton, New Jersey, about 4 inches or so. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, maybe another 2 inches. So this is from the, like I said, the 50th percentile. This is the expected amount of accumulation here. This is from the Weather Prediction Center in terms of snowfall. So this is how much we are expecting here. It's still yet to come out of the system. We even got a little bit of snow up here for the upper Great Lakes too, coming in. This is for the next 3 days, by the way. This is between now and 3 days from now. So today is, what's today, Monday, I think? Yeah, today's Monday. So this will be between now and Wednesday, how much more snow we're expecting. Obviously, you're going to get some across some of these upper elevations and stuff. Quite a bit for the upper state of Michigan. Some areas upwards of 8 inches or so. But yeah, still some of the heaviest of it still yet to come for areas like Boston and Providence, Rhode Island, Boston, Massachusetts. So the light blue here that you see, this is showing about another 12 inches expected. The medium blue 10 inches, the dark blue 8 inches, dark green 6, medium green 4, light green 2, and then 1 for the white there. But anyways, guys, if y'all have any questions, be sure to let us know. I'll be more than happy to help. If you have any zip codes or anything like that. All right, let's hop back over here to cameras. I do want to pull up some more cams with you guys here. Bring y'all over here. Okay, so we do have quite a few. We'll pull it back up Long Island again because we do have the sun came out now, so it should be a lot better to see. Where's the Discord server? It is in the description. At least it should be. It should be. Yeah, it's in the description. Once again, would not recommend it. You guys are traveling in this. Definitely is not good. Very dangerous. Yeah, look at this. Wow. That is crazy. I mean, everything's just snowed in here on this camera. We were looking at this one actually earlier. Yeah, I mean, like all the roads are just completely covered. Definitely is not really safe to be out in, because you could easily get stuck, and plus the low visibilities could make you crash. It's just not good. So please do not go out today. Just wait till everything's cleared up. Not good at all. All right, let's bring back up our current radar. I think did I get rid of that? I think I got rid of all the current radar. Anyways, we'll have satellite imagery now. Look at that low, dude. That is impressive looking. That is really impressive. All these really cool cloud formations here. Yeah, so you can actually see where that cold front was attached here. This is actually the same front that hit Florida yesterday. If I was to draw back on the map, you have that low right here. That's your low. And then you have your cold front trailing down. So we'll draw little spikes for our cold front signature. And then basically what you have going on here is a bunch of cooler air pulling in on the backside, cooler, drier air advancing downwards. And then you actually have warmer air ahead of the system that's kind of feeding into the system here. So pretty much because, you're pulling in a lot of moisture. Once again, warmer air holds more moisture. So as the warmer air advances further into the storm, it eventually, because the warm air is going into the cooler environment, it can no longer hold that much moisture. So it then condenses. And it basically squeezes all that water vapor, or squeezes all the moisture out of the air, which is the water vapor, and allows it to transition into precipitation. So that's really why we have a lot of these top areas up here that's really seeing the snow, because that's your mixing layer. That's where you have the cold air advancing downwards that's in place, and then the warm air that's actively feeding into the cooler air, which is, once again, the warm air can't hold that moisture anymore. So it's releasing it all by condensing. So it's really, really, really cool stuff. But I mean, that's pretty much everything that's going on here in motion. And if I play this in motion, you can kind of see, what we're talking about. You can obviously see that counterclockwise flow that they have in the northern hemisphere, anyways. The southern hemisphere, it's the opposite, which you gotta love the Coriolis effect. Really cool stuff. But yeah, that counterclockwise spin really does put really does show a lot. Kind of what's going on there, because we have all that cold air pulling down, warm air pulling up. It's just Really cool stuff. Really, really cool stuff. Anyways, I did not mean to get rid of that satellite layer. Here, let's actually look at the sat a little bit more. We'll pull up our lower level water vapor here. It'll really show you the more drier air that we have over here in the more red colors. Monster says, look at Discord in the winter tab. All right, let's see. I'll pull it up now. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's pretty good amount. Would you want me to share it, Monster, to the stream? Also, where is that? That's gonna be a good. That's like a good. That's several inches. Yeah, it seems like you got it pretty well. But yeah, you can see where all that moisture is once again. All right, I'll go and share it with them. Yeah, so this is the photo that Monster put in the chat. In Brick, New Jersey, apparently. That is a solid amount of snowfall. Yeah, would not recommend going anywhere today, or probably the next couple of days, because it's gonna take a bit for those roads to be cleared. Man, yeah, New Jersey definitely got hit pretty hard. They're still getting it quite a bit, actually. Yeah, additional amounts between 4 and 6 inches still expected for some of those areas. Try Delaware. Still a little bit more, but yeah, a lot of the snow for the DC area is done with now. Let me bring up our radar, actually. All right, first of all, let's hop y'all back over here. We'll go back to MRMS. We'll do precip type reflectivity. So this is basically just the current view of things. Still really coming down from New Jersey, though, as you can see. Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, eastern New York State. We got a little bit of snow in western New York State going on here, too, but a lot more showers out here. Even some snow showers over by like Kentucky, too. It looks like we have a little bit going on. Midwest and Central Plains is really clear because, yeah, we actually got some real high pressure out here right now. We'll overlay the mean sea level pressure as well. Yeah, I mean, yeah, pressure out here is like in the 1,040 millibar range. Very strong, very, very strong high. I wish it would load the... There you go. Well, there you go. You can kind of see there. There you go. Now you can see the ISO bar is a little bit different. Yeah, there's your high pressure, though. It's really building in the Central Plains. But, you can really see how tight these ISO bars are. The ISO bars are these lines that you see, representing the line of equal pressure, showing you where pressure is equal if you follow the line. And you can just really see how the farther east you go, the pressure rapidly drops off, until you get to that central low. Really, really crazy. And, because of that, a lot of the east is really seeing quite a bit of... Oh my gosh, didn't mean to hit my desk like that. Really seeing quite a bit of strong winds because of that. So it's pretty crazy. All right, let's see here. We're going to hop back. Take a look at some more cameras here. Here, we'll try moving in a little bit. We'll go over here by New Jersey. Maybe not. This is still New York, but right on the border of New Jersey. Oh, that's completely covered. There you go. There's a good one. Yeah, I mean, the entire road is just covered in snow. Yeah, so that's not far. That's actually in Staten Island. Staten Island live cams here. What we just pulled up. If you zoom in, if you look closely, you can see the blowing snow. Crazy, crazy stuff. Yeah, I mean, another thing too is like, you know, with that, you know, you're gonna have a lot of pileups. You know, you're gonna have some areas, some snow drifts, where you'll be seeing some more. You know, some areas where it's going to be higher up. You know, the totals are going to be a lot higher up because the snow is blowed into, you know, usually against buildings and stuff like that. Monster says I lost power at like 1 a.m. for 5 seconds before it went back on. Wow. Yeah, a lot of people are actually losing their power here. Here, I'll see if I can't pull up the current power outages again. Yeah, they're going up. There we go. Here we go. Yeah, so Pennsylvania is 12,000 people without it. New Jersey is now at 123,000 people without power. Massachusetts 126, pretty similar numbers there. Virginia 13,000, Maryland 45,000, Delaware 71,000, Pennsylvania 12,000, New York 23,000 people without power. There you go. California has some power outages for some reason. We did have a pretty big storm that rolled through not too long ago, so that's probably why. Pretty rural areas, though. I mean, that side of California, from what I know, is mostly mountainous and not really many people live there. A lot of people live near the coast of California. But anyways, all right, everybody. Honestly, I think I'm probably gonna conclude the coverage for now. We've been live almost 2 hours. I think I'm probably gonna get off here for a little bit, get some stuff done. But I'll be back later on. We'll be back to do some more coverage. I'm just gonna get some breakfast and eat. Maybe wait for people to wake up a little bit too, and then go back live because I feel like still half of everybody's asleep right now. So we'll be back. We'll be back later on. Here probably around 11 or 12 or so. Maybe we'll be back later on. Alrighty, everybody. Thanks for joining. You guys take care. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. And like I said, we'll see you guys here in a little bit. Y'all just stay safe out there. Please do not travel. I would avoid against it. And alrighty, see you guys here later on. Peace out, my friends. See ya in the next one.